In the next 7 minutes, you'll see 6 of the best rondos to use with your team. They range from a simple 4v1 setup to more complex exercises which will keep your players engaged and ultimately challenged. If you want your team to be comfortable and competent in possession, keep watching. While the 4v1 rondo is a basic exercise, it shouldn't be looked down on as it's appropriate for all levels of play. There's lots of variations to it, and it's one of the best ways to improve the first touch of your players, as well as their decision making when under pressure from an opponent. You can vary the size of the space, with a 4-yard square being the smallest. Yards and meters are roughly the same, by the way, for the purposes of this video. And then a 10-yard square probably being as big as you'd want to go. As well as the size of the space, manipulating the number of touches players are allowed can vastly change how the exercise operates. There are 1 and 2 touch options, as well as a mandatory 2-touch option, which really forces the players to pass the ball firmer. Pause here to view the variations and key concepts. The 3v1 rondo is another basic exercise, just like the 4v1 rondo, but again, it's massively beneficial if done with the correct intensity, focus, and quality. Like the 4v1, there's lots of variations to the 3v1 rondo, and because you have 1 less player, your passing options are more limited, which makes it more challenging. Again, it really is one of the best ways to improve the first touch of your players, particularly at grassroots level, as well as improving player decision making under pressure. You can vary the size of the space, with a 4-yard square being the smallest and then a 10-yard square probably being as big as you'd want or need to go. Varying the number of touches players are allowed brings different challenges, but the mandatory 2-touch option is our favourite, as players have to pass really firmly and react quickly. Pause here to view the variations and key concepts. The 4v4+4 rondo is probably the most famous and most used rondo thanks to Pep Guardiola. It was previously 4v4+3, but more recently it has morphed into a 4v4+4 version, and we like this better as it utilises an extra player. The idea of the exercise is for the team on the outside of the rectangle to keep possession with the 4 neutral players, sometimes called jokers. When the team chasing the ball wins possession, they transition and replace the team on the outside of the rectangle, so it makes this a very dynamic exercise. You can vary the size of the space, with a 10 by 15 yard rectangle making things very tight and increasing the pressure. Then a 15 by 20 rectangle gives you a bit more time and space, while the biggest version, the 20 by 25 yard option, is probably as big as you want to go. This bigger version requires a lot more run-in for the team out of possession, so it can be a good option for fitness work. Pause here to view the variations and key concepts. This 8v3 rondo exercise was made famous by Ajax under Erik ten Hag, who's now at Man United of course. The 8 players are set up positionally, and the idea is to hold your position fairly strictly and let the ball do most of the movement. The 3 players chasing the ball can either try to keep possession when they win it, or you can add goals onto each end of the rectangle, so they have an opportunity to score when they win the ball back. Again, you can vary the size of the space, with an 8 by 12 yard rectangle making things extremely tight, and so keeping possession for decent periods is pretty difficult. Increasing to a 10 by 15 yard rectangle gives you a bit more time and space, while the 15 by 20 yard version is bigger and easier to keep possession, and it's very difficult for the middle 3 players to win it back. Again, this bigger version requires more run-in for the team out of possession, so it can be a good fitness option. Finally, limiting your players to 2 touches is probably the best option if you want them to get used to making good decisions under pressure. Pause here to view the variations and key concepts. The 3v3+3 hexagonal rondo, essentially a 6v6, is a really great exercise to work on triangular passing combinations, and the level of difficulty can be adjusted based on the size of the space and the number of touches players are allowed. 3 players from each team are on the outside of the hexagon and 3 are on the inside. The players on the inside use their outside teammates to try and keep possession, and because of the shape of the exercise, there's lots of triangular passing, which transfers into games, as you'll see in a clip coming up shortly. Like most rondos, you can vary the size of the space of this one. The 5-yard hexagon is very tight and only really suitable for players capable of playing strictly 1 and 2 touch. The bigger 7-yard version gives players of all levels more time, while the 10-yard hexagon makes it much easier to keep possession and work on longer, firmer passing. Finally, 2 touches is definitely the best option to get players working on fluid combination play. Pause here to view the variations and key concepts. This 11v5 positional rondo is a great way to work on your team structure and shape, and it can be modified to fit any formation or team setup. The idea is for players to maintain their position and let the ball do the work. The team should shift vertically and horizontally, depending on how you want them to play. But it is important in this exercise to maintain a structure that allows the attacking team to react and recover the ball quickly if they lose possession, before then fluidly moving back into their structure and shape to establish comfortable possession again. Including goals at each end gives the defending team with less numbers an opportunity to transition and score when they win the ball, and this helps to keep the players engaged. As the coach, you should change the size of the space depending how successful your players are at keeping possession, remembering that they always want to be challenged. Pause here to view the variations and key concepts. Investing in rondos pays off over the long term, as you'll see in the next couple of clips from a professional and grassroots team. This is Villarreal, and it's definitely at least partly the result of rondos, but I'll let the clip speak for itself. This is a team of 13-year-olds from California, and the playing out of the back part of this possession sequence is definitely the result of rondos. Again, I'll let the clip speak for itself. One thing is for certain, if you are patient and committed to the process of helping your players improve, these rondos will be massively beneficial for your team. So get going, stick with it, and let us know how it goes for you. Thank you for watching.